Hi everyone, welcome to Maximum Attack Rallying. It's your Thursday dose of rallying chit chat. We're just going to have a little bit of a ramble today. On Monday, I released a video talking about Rally Japan and talking about the news that Oitanak will be leaving the WRC at the end of this season. And after I had edited that video, but before it went out, Toyota announced their 2026 driver lineup, which was a little bit inconvenient. So we'll talk about that a little bit, because I think there's obviously some big news about Oliver Solberg, but also you have to say, could anyone actually beat Toyota next year or the year after? Or probably the year after that? I'm not really sure that they can. It's quite surprising, isn't it, that even though they are losing a two-time world champion in Calarompera, I mean, is anyone going to notice? They have got such a breadth of talent in that team. It is unreal. It is the best team in the championship by a country mile. So I will talk about that. I will touch on Hyundai a little bit and M Sport, no doubt. But man, it's quite a team, isn't it? So, the lineup for 2026 in the Rally 1 Toyotas is Elfyn Evans, Takamoto Katsuta, Sami Payari, and, of course, new addition Oliver Solberg. We also have Sebastian Ogier. He will be doing at least half of the rallies, including Monte Carlo, obviously his home event, as he is a native of Gap. So, that is quite a lineup, isn't it, in the Rally 1 team. One interesting note, obviously, Toyota run the challenge program for new drivers. I will just mention those guys, because an interesting thing there in that they have opened that up to a non-Japanese driver for the first time. So Jasper Verheer, he is from Estonia. It's nice to see another Estonian driver coming through. He is joining that program. We also have, sorry, I'm just trying to find the names. Yuki Yamamoto, he will be competing in that again next year. And Shotaro Goto and Takumi Matsushita, they will all be there. So it's nice to see that Toyota are continuing to invest in young drivers, particularly now that they're investing in drivers from outside Japan. So I think that's a significant step forward. It's quite a team, isn't it? Toyota is quite a team, and their investment in the WRC remains significant, which is fantastic, isn't it? It is absolutely fantastic. But I think it does raise a question, doesn't it? Because it makes things very difficult for everyone else. You know, if you look at M Sport by contrast, obviously their investment is significantly smaller, and they do not have the budget, even to run 3 full-time cars, let alone full-time cars, part-time cars, driver development programs. So it is quite an investment, isn't it? Let's just talk about Oliver Solberg briefly, however. I think many people will be saying it's about time that he got back in a Rally 1 car full time. So obviously he had that difficult campaign back in 2022 in the Hyundai i20 Rally 1. And that was a difficult year, wasn't it? There was flashes of speed, but it was not an easy year. And some people might have said, well, is he good enough? I think he was probably promoted too soon. I think, you know, we've seen significant development from him during that period. You have to say that it was just poor timing. You know, that car was not good enough, and he was put into a very difficult position with a lack of experience in top-level machinery, having to drive that car, which was underdeveloped, had arrived late, and there was a host of problems in that respect. So now, I think it is safe to say that he is very, very, very ready. He obviously won Rally Estonia this year when he got that one-off drive in the Rally 1 Toyota, which was, I mean, it was sensational, wasn't it? No one would have predicted that he would have won that rally. So that was, you know, an incredible result, and I'm sure it pretty much guaranteed his opportunity for next year. But, you know, if you look at his results, I think he's done 13 or 14 rallies so far this year, obviously one to go. And he has been the top finishing Rally 2 car, I think 9 of them. He is, without any shadow of doubt, the fastest driver in a Rally 2 car right now. So, you know, if we look at the WRC in terms of pure talent and promoting people on merit, there is there is just no argument against him getting that promotion, is there? He has absolutely proven that he's the fastest driver in the second tier. So, on that basis alone, he, if anyone deserved to be promoted, it's Solberg. What's he going to do next year? I think that is a fascinating question, isn't it? I think if we look in terms of the championship next year, I know we've got to finish the championship this year first. It's going to be really interesting, isn't it? Because as I said at the top of this video, can anyone actually beat Toyota next year? And I think that's a really interesting question. I mean, it's interesting, but I think it's quite easy to answer. No, in my view, absolutely not. If you look at the other teams, M Sport, we don't know who's going to be driving for M Sport next year, but I mean, if they retain their current two drivers, I mean, the answer is obviously no. Neither of those guys are at a level where they can compete with the top drivers, and even if they don't keep those drivers, who could they get to put them in a championship challenging position, unless they could entice someone like Loeb back, which isn't going to happen, is it? That's fantasy. So they're out. Even if you look at Hyundai, the only contender at Hyundai in my view is Thierry Neuville. Adrien Fourmeau, again, he's shown speed. He has shown some speed this year, but there's been a lack of consistency. There's been offs. He's not there yet. I think he is capable of winning rallies, but he's not there yet. And if we look at their third driver, we don't know who that is yet. I just can't see anyone. I can't see them bringing anyone in that can be a contender from the off. They're going to have to look at a WRC2 driver, aren't they? There's talk of Nikolai Gryzin, someone like that. And if it was him, for example, a quick driver, but he's not going to jump in that car and challenge for championship. So the only man outside of Toyota that can challenge is Neuville. And on the evidence of what the i20 Rally 1 is like this year, it is going to be incredibly difficult for Neuville to put together another title challenge. That car has changed since they've removed the hybrid, since we've switched to the Hankook tyres. That is not the car that took him to that championship, is it, in 2024? So I think, unfortunately, it's going to be a very difficult year for Hyundai. The question then becomes, which Toyota driver is going to be the champion next year? And that in itself is not an easy one, is it? We've got a brilliant championship battle this year. We've got three drivers still technically in it, though I think Kalle Rovanpera's chances are distant. But he is not there next year, so effectively we've got two drivers remaining. So that's Elfyn Evans and Sébastien Ogier. I said in the last video that I think Ogier is the favourite for this season, but next season is a completely different thing, isn't it? We don't know if he will do the full season. If he wins this championship, I think regardless of whether he wins this championship or not, if he does some of the rallies and finds himself in that championship battle, will he go again? I think whether he wins the championship next year is going to dictate that. I think if he wins the championship this year, maybe he'll be less inclined. Maybe he'll think, I've equalled Loeb's record, I've got nothing to prove, I'm just going to do a few rallies for fun, and that's that. If he doesn't win this championship, if he comes very, very close and doesn't win it, I think there will be perhaps more incentive to go again next year, even without doing a full programme. Elfyn Evans, I think I would potentially say he is actually the favourite for next year. I think Ogier has been fantastic this year, but he's perhaps had a bit of fortune on his side, hasn't he? If Evans doesn't win it this year, he will learn lessons, and obviously he will do all the rallies. And I think, for me, he is probably the favourite. I don't know. I think, obviously there's going to be less competition next year, which is a little bit unfair on Evans, I know, to say, because I don't want to suggest that it's easy, because winning a championship is never easy, and you can only beat who's in front of you. But, I think if anyone's going to be in a position of favourite for next season, it's probably going to be Evans. But that said, we've got this Solberg factor, haven't we? So could Solberg be a threat for the title? I mean, if you took Rally Estonia as the measure, then you would have to say yes, because he won that rally first time in the car. But it's not that easy, is it? That was an incredible result, and he deserves all of the credit in the world for it. But is he going to repeat that consistently across the season to put himself in with a shout of winning the championship? For me, I'm going to say probably not. I expect that he might win a couple of rallies next year. I do think that is highly possible, but I think next season is going to be about learning, about building consistency, about learning the car on different types of events, and just getting into the groove a bit. He's in a bit of a weird position, isn't he, you have to say, in that he's coming in at the end of a regulation cycle. So he's going to do one season in that car, and then in 2027, presuming he stays with the team, which I see no reason why he wouldn't, he is then going to have to adapt to a completely new type of car, which is potentially a little bit more like what he's been driving now. You know, the level of performance at least will be back closer to the current Rally 2 car. So that's a bit of a weird situation, especially given all the stuff in the background, in that we don't actually know what 2027 is going to look like, because, as I've said and ranted about in other videos, you know, maybe this is all going to fall apart because Toyota are the only ones that have committed to the new regulations. So there's a few unknowns in the background, though I do think the FIA will just push forward with those cars anyway. So it's going to be fascinating, isn't it? You know, I'm going to end this by saying massive congratulations to Oliver Solberg. You know, this is well deserved. He has been consistently the fastest guy in Rally 2, not just this season. I think he probably was last season as well. You know, so that, off the back of the Estonia victory, you know, he has shown that he is absolutely ready. So I am absolutely fascinated to see how he gets on next year and how things go. And, you know, and to see which Toyota driver wins, because I think we are now in a position where next season at least, and possibly the season after, this is going to be the Toyota show, and whoever else is there is going to be along for the ride. So well done, Oliver. Yeah, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Can anyone beat Toyota next year? And which driver do you think is going to be the best of the Toyota bunch? Let me know. As always, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I am super grateful for all of you that get involved, not just by liking and subscribing, but also by sharing your comments. I do love engaging with them, so keep that up. And I will see you again in the next video.